Welcome to a Leader's Journey podcast. I'm your host, Joel Gunn. Today I have with me a new friend, Tyus. Tyus, welcome to the show. I met Tyus and her husband this weekend at a retreat here in Brazil, and she was telling me a little bit about her story today, and I asked her to share that with the audience. So you guys own 4 businesses between you, about 200 employees total. You're the CEO of a startup technology company. But really why I wanted to have you on the show was you were telling me a little bit about your journey, your story. I'd love for you to share that with the audience.
All right. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here and to share our testimony and what God has done and to his own glory.
Yeah. Yes.
But the thing is, as I mentioned before, like it's nice for me to talk and to share this testimony in one retreat because like actually once we got married, we accepted Jesus after our marriage, and we were already running business. And then that's something that I'm really excited about it once we share about the gospel inside the marketplace, because our lives were like we were reached inside the marketplace. It was like a business partner that invited us to this retreat, and in this place, my husband gave his life to Jesus. But after that, when we went back to work, we started seeing things differently. I remember that like the first time that he went back to our office, he started crying and like randomly, and he didn't know why. And then he told me that like he started seeing things that he didn't realize before. And then I think that the first lesson that we had after that is that like we knew that we needed to change the way we were doing things. And then we understood that like God was calling us to change and to rethink the way we were doing business. And that's something interesting that like we thought that we figured out the way we were supposed to run the business. And like, you know what? I know what God expects from us, and we know what we need to do, and let's just do it, and things will work well. Well, after that, I remember that we were in a really big project, and a miracle happened. Like I cannot tell the story of the project without mentioning God and what He has done, because like we would never be able to deliver what we did. It was like the biggest IT project in the country. It was like really big, and we made it. And it was nice. It was great. It was like in 1 year where like we had many problems and a lot of crimes with corruption were the police acted, and many companies broke. And in that case, in that year, we delivered the whole project, and it was really nice. It was great. But I don't want to talk about this because, like, I know that many people knows that, like, whenever we honor God and whenever we do the right thing, usually we have like this good outcome. And then I remember that, like, that was the second lesson. We thought that, like, every time we perform according to the word, according to the gospel, according to what it is right and ethical, we're going to have like this good outcome. And then we thought that was the right way. We thought that we figured out that like we needed to honor God. And even once you are in one environment where like briberies are just the right way or the way things works. And then we thought that if we just did things differently, it would be enough. But the thing is, after that, we had this other big project like 2 years later. And then I was really sure that everything would be like really well, because like I had that God that owns the earth, and then that runs like and then that has everything under his control. So I knew that like if we were loyal, everything would end up on the way we wanted, and when we thought that it was supposed to be. It didn't go like this. And it was crazy because like I thought that I had figured like that I needed to fix what was not right, and then that I needed to behave different from the rest of the market. But then I figured that it was not enough. And then I remember that like there was this night that my husband came to me, and then he told me that like we would lose that project, that we wouldn't be able to deliver the project that we were hired to do it. It was like we lost a lot of money, and then like there were so many people involved. It was like so sad. And then I started praying like, Lord, why God? Why is it happening? And then in that night, I had a dream. And that's something nice that we were talking about, the ways that God speaks to us, and it happens a lot with in dreams, true dreams, to my husband. And then that night, we had this really interesting dream. The thing is, like, he was at night inside one forest, and it was raining, lots of rain, really dark. And then he had this uniform with many other guys, and then they were like walking forward through like many to this kind of a tribe, and there were like many women and children crying and screaming, and then like they could hear that, and then all of a sudden like he saw that all the women and kids, they were like laying down, and then there was this general screaming, like yelling at them, if you don't cure, you're gonna die, if you don't cure. And then he had an axe in his hand, and then all these guys with the uniform like lying like next to him had this axe. And then like there was this general saying, if you don't kill, you're gonna die, if you don't cure, you're gonna die, and I'm gonna count to 3, 1, 2, 3. And then my husband just did it to cut off the head of the kid. And then whenever he did it, he saw that like the head suddenly became something else. It was not, he could not see the person. And then he was really, really nervous. And then like everything disappeared. And then he was really nervous. And then he heard this person saying to him, this voice, son, I did it because I wanted you to learn 3 things. The first one, you cannot kill. You shall never kill when you're supposed to die. The second thing is that it's not enough not to be one of them. You cannot look like them. And the third one is trust me. And then he woke up, and he woke me up. And then he told me, Thais, I need to tell you something. I'm pretty sure that God just gave me the answer. You know what? Sometimes we're not supposed to train everything. He's teaching it. And you know what? It's not enough not to be one of them. To look different from them. And you need to dress good. And it was like so real with. And then we understood that God was calling us to do something different and to show the world and the others that we were different and the reason why we were doing that. And that was like a really important turning point inside our companies. Because after that, we met C12. We were not C12 members back then. But then we started, we understood that like there are many ways where we can share the gospel and to be different inside the marketplace. And we understood that we were called to start doing this inside our marketplace. After that, we won many other projects. Things started like we saw many things changing. But the thing is, we knew that like we needed to change the way we were doing things and the way we were showing what we were doing. And that was really important to us. And that's something that changed everything inside our companies and the way we run business.
What would you say one of the biggest changes that you made in the way you ran the business? Well, you mentioned not giving bribes, but some countries that's not common. Most of the world it is. What's another big change that you guys made?
The thing is, we started sharing the gospel inside the company with our employees. And we needed to, like, we started like making up strategies to reach them. I remember that the first one was called Because We Care. And this one is we hired psychologists Christian psychologists. And then we mentioned, and then we told them that like inside the company they were supposed to share the gospel whenever they thought it would be it would be one opportunity. And then we asked them to, and then every employee could be during the day go there and have this meeting with the psychologist, and so many things started changing because like a lot of people started accepting Jesus, marriages started like changing, and many things changed inside. I think that was the first one, and the second was like something good to someone. It was called the what we did. It was like we invited everybody inside the company to look for projects or people who needed one specific amount of money, because we said that like part of the profit we wanted to give to someone special because we need to do something good to someone else. And the thing is, I don't know how to say it in Portuguese, bem para alguém, something good to someone. And the thing is, they started like doing this, and then they needed to find something to do with that amount of money. And then afterwards, they needed to share with the company. And then afterwards, they needed to vote. The nice thing about it is that like many people started like to knowing many needs around our community. And then the thing is, the interesting thing is that like whenever like many people brought ideas but voted in someone else's idea, and then they started like developing the wish, or like they wanted to help, and then they started voting, and then they started getting involved in those projects. And then in the end, whenever they voted, like we chose 3 projects to actually like to invest. But in that day, the way we did it is we said, you know why we're doing this? We're doing this because we're Christian, and many people just like think that like it is a religion, or like there's a misunderstanding. But like there is one main lesson that we received from God. It's that like the disciples will be recognized because they love the community, they love others. So we need to show that we love other people, that we love people around us, and we would like to do it this like grace. We're gonna give it away to someone else. And the thing is, it's so small. Like we did many other projects, but the thing is, like after doing this, there were like people inside our company that like did not like Christians, that did not like religion. And then there is this one specific guy who said that he hated Christians. And then after that, he started like, he figured that it would be interesting to better understand what was Christianity. And then after that, he said that he liked me and Ismael as person. And then after that, he started studying Jesus' life. And now he likes Jesus. He said, like, I still do not, I'm not a follower, but I admire. And now, you know what? I like Christians. And then, like, I remember that this testimony, like, it was right in the beginning. Yeah. It was like so great because, like, we just saw that, like, people were getting in touch with the gospel inside our companies. After that, we started doing many other things. We started like we start our days with our board, always praying. Like we have like this routine. People that go to my company, to our company, usually say that like it looks more like a church, but no, like we do business there, and we understand that we need to deliver well, and But the thing is, like we share gospel, and the thing is, like all of a sudden, like many people start, like we figured out that there were many Christians that did not feel comfortable about talking about their faith inside the company. But after that, they started sharing their testimonies, and then started talking about what they believed, and things started changing. And nowadays, like everybody knows we're Christian. Everybody knows the values we carry inside the company. And well, actually, we are known that like we are the kind of company that like they do not offer like those kind of things anymore, because they know the way we behave. So that's that's something that really changed. And I think that the first steps were those that I just
Yeah,
mentioned.
those are great and very practical. A lot of companies could do those kinds of things, and they don't always cost a lot of money. I've heard one businessman that I met probably 8 or 9 years ago. He did something where he took his employees to the grocery store and said, "Here's a little bit of cash," and um, it was just enough to help somebody in need. And he said, "So the goal here today is find somebody at the cash register, ideally that doesn't have enough money to buy everything in their basket. That'd be perfect. But most people know what they're going to spend, and so they got enough." But he said, just find somebody that looks like maybe you want to be nice to them and walk up and as they're about to pay, say, "We'd like to pay for your groceries today." And so that wasn't thousands and thousands of dollars. It was just a small token, but it was enough to get the employees to start talking about, hey, this is a different kind of company. They really care about people. And so thanks for sharing that. That's some very practical examples. And I would love to have you and your husband back on the podcast sometime, but we've got to go meet up with the group. And so we've got to keep it short. But that was a great story to share. And, it's funny because we always, as Christians, we always want God to make sure our lives are very comfortable and only good things happen. But even Jesus said there's always going to be bad stuff happening to you and around you. But he's given us the ability to overcome that. And that's certainly been y'all's experiences. Uh, he's got our best interest at heart. And so it's been a pleasure to meet you and your husband. I'm excited to get to finish out the retreat with you guys here in Brazil at this resort. But we'll stay in touch, hopefully.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
It's a pleasure.
It's been. Thanks for joining us for this episode of A Leader's Journey podcast. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up and remember to subscribe to our channel.